Zimbabwe Livelihoods Assessment Committee ZimLAC 2025 Rural Livelihoods Assessment Fact Sheet. The Zimbabwe Livelihoods Assessment Committee continues to undertake annual livelihoods assessments in fulfillment of Commitment 6 of the Food and Nutrition Security Policy. The overall purpose of the 2025 Rural Livelihoods Assessment was to provide an annual update on livelihoods in Zimbabwe's rural areas, to inform policy formulation and programming of appropriate interventions. This assessment was also guided by the need to demonstrate the impact of the National Development Strategy 1, NDS1, and to provide the baseline for NDS2. One, cereal insecurity. The cereal insecurity prevalence was projected to be 15% during the peak hunger period, January to March 2026. Cereal insecurity trends 2020 to 2025. 2020, 56%, 2021, 27%, 2022, 38%, 2023, 26%, 2024, El Nino induced 57%, 2025, 15%. There was a 73.2% drop in cereal insecurity from 56% in 2020 to 15% in 2025. Government is complimented for implementing shock-responsive interventions that resulted in improved food security. During the peak hunger period, January to March 2026, Matabeleland North 20% and Midlands 19% were projected to have the highest proportion of households facing cereal access challenges. Cereal insecurity. July to September, Manicaland 4%, October to December 7%, January to March 11%. Mashonaland Central 3%, October to December 7%, January to March 12%. Mashonaland East, January to September 8%, October to December 12%, January to March 17%. Mashonaland West, July to September 7%, October to December 10%, January to March 15%. Matabeleland North, July to September 13%, October to December 17%, January to March 20%. Matabeleland South, July to September 6%, October to December 11%, January to March 17%. Midlands, July to September 7%, October to December 13%, January to March 19%. Masvingo, July to September 6%, October to December 10%, January to March 15%. National, July to September 6%, October to December 10%, January to March 15%. Cereal insecure population by quarter. Manicaland, July to September 2025, 66,628. October to December 2025, 137,074. January to March 2026, 223,213. Mashonaland Central, July to September 2025, 48,383. October to December 2025, 83,432. January to March 2026, 135,084. Mashonaland East, July to September 2025, 47,902. October to December 2025, 108,225. January to March 2026, 184,853. Mashonaland West, July to September 2025, 67,578. October to December 2025, 114,410. January to May 2026, 180,152. Matabeleland North, July to September 2025, 62,460. October to December 2025, 90,493. January to March 2026, 126,475. Matabeleland South, July to September 2025, 77,013. October to December 2025, 100,361. January to March 2026, 120,514. Midlands, July to September 2025, 93,278. October to December 2025, 176,157. January to March 2026, 264,725. Masvingo, July to September 2025, 105,017. October to December 2025, 186,654. January to March 2026, 272,154. National, July to September 2025, 609,087. October to December 2025, 1,046,895. January to May 2026, 1,548,432. Masvingo, 272,154, and Midlands, 264,725, were projected to have the highest cereal insecure populations during the peak hunger period. 2. Livestock production. 34% of households owned cattle. Cattle prices ranged from $191 to $506. 39% of households owned goats. Goats prices ranged from $20 to $51. Crop production. There was an increase in the proportion of households which grew African peas, tubers, pearl millets, and sorghum. Maize 2019-2020, 80%. 2021-2022, 84%. 2022-2023, 82%. 2024-2025, 75%. Groundnuts 2019-20, 31%. 2021-2022, 41%. 2022-23, 41%. 2023-2024, 33%. 2024-2025, 20%. African peas 2019-2020, 26%. 2021-2022, 29%. 2022-2023, 31%. 2023-2024, 19%. 2024-2025, 25%. Tubers 2019-2020, 11%. 2021-2022, 24%. 2022-2023, 27%. 2023-2024, 8%. 2024-2025, 20%. Round nuts 2019-2020, 17%. 2021-2022, 22%. 2022-2023, 21%. 2023-2024, 17%. 2024-2025, 10%. Sorghum 2019-2020, 26%. 2021, 2022, 21%, 2022, 2023, 19%, 2023, 2024, 23%, 2024, 2025, 27%. Pearl millets, 2019, 2020, 10%, 2021, 2022, 9%, 2022, 2023, 11%, 2023, 2024, 9%, 2024, 2025, 12%. Soybean, 2021, 2022, 1%, 2022, 2023, 1%, 2023, 2024, 1%, 2024, 2025, 1%. Season harvest. Manicaland, maize 2024, 105 kgs, 2025, 316.7 kgs. Sorghum 2024, 6 kgs, 2025, 37.5 kgs. Finger millet 2024, 3 kgs, 2025, 6.6 kgs. Pearl millet 2024, 1 kg, 2025, 18.7 kgs. Total 2024, 115 kgs. 2025, 379.4 kgs. Mashonaland Central, maize 2024, 107 kgs. 2025, 326.8 kgs. Sorghum 2024, 10 kgs. 2025, 128.1 kgs. Finger millets 2024, 0 kgs. 2025, 0.3 kgs. Pearl millets 2024, 0 kgs. 2025, 9.0 kgs. Total 2024, 117 kgs. 2025, 464.2 kgs. Mashonaland East, maize 2024, 88 kgs. 2025, 436.2 kgs. Sorghum 2024, 2 kgs. 2025, 21.7 kgs. Finger millets 2024, 0 kgs. 2025, 5.8 kgs. Pearl millet 2024, 1 kg. 2025, 6.5 kgs. Total 2024, 91 kgs. 2025, 470.2 kgs. Mashonaland waste, maize 2024, 50 kgs. 2025, 389.0 kgs. Sorghum 2024, 4 kgs. 2025, 57.6 kgs. Finger millets, 0 kgs. 2025, 0.4 kgs. Pearl millets, 2024, 0 kgs. 2025, 0.6 kgs. Total, 2024, 54 kgs. 2025, 447.6 kgs. Matabeleland North, maize 2024, 30 kgs. 2025, 168.7 kgs. Sorghum 2024, 39 kgs. 2025, 152.0 kgs. Finger millet 2024, 30 kgs. 2025, 0.6 kgs. Pearl millets 2024, 0 kgs. 2025, 135.9 kgs. Total 2024, 99 kgs. 2025, 457.2 kgs. Matabeleland South, maize 2024, 26 kgs. 2025, 118.6 kgs. Sorghum 2024, 19 kgs. 2025, 29.3 kgs. Finger millet 2024, 8 kgs. 2025, 0.9 kgs. Pearl millet 2024, 0 kgs. 2025, 17.8 kgs. Total 2024, 53 kgs. 2025, 166.7 kgs. Midlands, maize 2024, 136 kgs. 2025, 360.9 kgs. Sorghum 2024, 9 kgs. 2025, 40.8 kgs. Finger millet 2024, 0 kgs. 2025, 3.4 kgs. pearl millet, 2024, 0 kgs. 2025, 3.6 kgs. Total 2024, 145 kgs. 2025, 408.7 kgs. Mashingo. Maize 2024, 61 kgs. 2025, 229.1 kgs. Sorghum 2024, 28 kgs. 2025, 71.5 kgs. Finger millet 16 kgs. 2025, 11.3 kgs. Pearl millet 2024, 2 kgs. 2025, 56.6 kgs. Total 2024, 108 kgs. 2025, 368.4 kgs. National. Maize 2024, 77 kgs. 2025, 299.9 kgs. Sorghum 2024, 14 kgs. 2025, 66.4 kgs. Finger millet 2024, 7 kgs. 2025, 3.7 kgs. Pearl millet 2024, 1 kg. 2025, 29.5 kgs. Total 2024, 99 kgs. 2025, 399.4 kgs. On average, households harvested 299.9 kgs of maize and 66.4 kgs of sorghum. For household income. Income trends. Compared to base year 2020, there's been a positive impact on the economy as evidenced by average household incomes increasing from USD 33 in 2020 to USD 136 in 2025. Income trends 2020 to 2025. 2020, 33 US dollar. 2021, 75 US dollar. 2022, 57 US dollar. 2023, 116 US dollar. 2024, 88 US dollar. 2025, 136 US dollar. Average household monthly income. Average household monthly income USD for April 2025. Manicaland 2020, 27 US dollar. 2025, 131 US dollar. Mashonaland Central 2020, 36 US dollar. 2025, $184 US. Mashonaland East 2020 $34 US. 2025 $134 US. Mashonaland West 2020 $39 US. 2025 $203 US. Matabeleland North 2020 $28 US. 2025 $122 US. Matabeleland South 2020 $45 USD. 2025 $98 USD. Midlands 2020 $31 USD. 2025 $118 USD. 2020 Masvingo $29 US. 2025 $132 US. National 2020 $33 US. 2025 $136 US. Mashonaland West had the highest average household monthly income US $203 for April 2025, while Matabeleland South US $98 had the lowest. Income sources. Most households relied on casual labor 45%, food crop production 21%, and remittances from within Zimbabwe 19% in 2025. Gathering natural products for sale, for example, firewood, fruits 3%, bagging 3%, on business 3%, pension 3%, skilled trade or artisan 4%, food assistance 4%, food crop resale 5%, deals madiri, kukiakia, ukutlaya, amadili 5%, vending or petty trade 8%, livestock production or sales 9%, vegetable or fruit sales 9%, small-scale mining or mineral sales 9%, cash crop production 10%, vegetables or fruits production 10%, remittances or gifts from outside 11%, salary or wages 12%, remittances or gifts from within 19%, food crop production 21%, casual labor 45%. Social assistance 5. Manicaland sources of support. Government support 2024 41%, 2025, 70%. UN or NGO support, 2024, 7%. 2025, 14%. Church supports, 2024, 1%. 2025, 2%. Urban relatives, 2024, 5%. 2025, 18%. Rural relatives, 2024, 5%. 2025, 23%. Diaspora relatives, 2024, 2%. 2025, 4%. Mutual groups support, 2024, 0%. 2025, 0%. Mashonaland Central government support, 2024, 56%. 2025, 72%. UN or NGO support, 2024, 4%. 2025, 19%. Church support, 2024, 1%. 2025, 3%. Urban relatives, 2024, 3%. 2025, 11%. Rural relatives, 2024, 5%. 2025, 22%. Diaspora relatives, 2024, 1%. 2025, 2%. 2024, 1%. 2025, 1%. Mashonaland East government support, 2024, 51%. 2025, 61%. UN or NGO support, 2024, 4%. 2025, 12%. Church support, 2024, 1%. 2025, 2%. Urban relatives, 2024, 6%. 2025, 13%. Rural relatives, 2024, 5%. 2025, 18%. Diaspora relatives, 2024, 1%. 2025, 3%. 2024, mutual group supports, 1%. 2025, 0%. Mashonaland West government support, 2024, 42%. 2025, 73%. UN or NGO support, 2024, 1%. 2025 6%. Change supports 2024 1%, 2025 3%. Urban relatives 2024 2%, 2025 10%. Rural relatives 2024 1%, 2025 23%. Diaspora relatives 2024 1%, 2025 4%. Mutual groups supports 2024 0%, 2025 1%. Matabeleland North government support 2024 35%, 2025 64%. UN or NGO support 2024 9%, 2025 18%. Church support 2024 1%, 2025 3%. Urban relatives 2024 6%, 2025 16%. Rural relatives 2024 6%, 2023 23%. Diaspora relatives 2024 6%, 2025 13%. Mutual groups support 2024 1%, 2025 3%. Matabeleland South government supports 2024 31%, 2025 48%. UN or NGO supports 2024 11%, 2025 16%. Church support 2024 1%, 2025 2%. Urban relatives 2024 6%, 2025 11%. Rural relatives 2024 5%, 2025 20%. Diaspora relatives 2024 5%, 2025 16%. Mutual groups supports 2024 1%, 2025 0%. Midlands government supports 2024 43%, 2025 64%. UN or NGO support 2024 3%, 2025 17%. Church support 2024 1%, 2025 2%. Urban relatives 2024 4%, 2025 16%. Rural relatives 2024 1%, 2025 22%. Diaspora relatives, 2024, 2%, 2025, 9%. 2024, mutual groups support, 0%, 2025, 1%. Masvingo, government support, 2024, 35%, 2025, 65%, UN or NGO support, 2024, 11%, 2025, 27%, 2024, church support, 0%, 2025, 6%. Urban relatives, 2024, 8%, 2025, 27%. Rural relatives, 2024, 6%, 2025, 35%. Diaspora relatives, 2024, 5%, 2025, 13%. Mutual groups supports, 2024, 1%, 2025, 3%. National. Government support, 2024, 43%, 2025, 65%. UN or NGO support, 2024, 8%, 2025, 16%. Church supports, 2024, 1%, 2025, 3%. Urban relatives, 2024, 5%, 2025, 15%. Rural relatives, 2024, 4%, 2025, 23%. Diaspora relatives, 2024, 3%, 2025, 8%. Mutual groups supports, 2024, 1%, 2025, 1%. Government remains the main source of support, 65%, followed by rural relatives, 23%. UN or NGO support, 16%, and urban relatives, 15%. The support received from relatives, both rural and urban, reflects a positive, enabling economic environment and evidence of social capital. Six, water, sanitation, and hygiene. WASH. About 90% of the households accessed water within a kilometer. Distance traveled to main water source. Located within premises, 2023, 21%, 2024, 6%, 2025, 8%, less than 500 meters, 2023, 33%, 2024, 51%, 2025, 55%. More than 500 meters but less than 1 kilometer, 2023, 28%, 2024, 28%, 2025, 27%. 1 kilometer and above. 2023, 17%, 2024, 15%, 2025, 10%. 7. Child health, vitamin A supplementation. Vitamin A supplementation, 2023, 6 to 11 months, 84%, 2024, 97%, 2025, 95%. 12 to 59 months, 2023, 64%, 2024, 85%, 2025, 92.2%. The government is complimented for attaining its aspiration as outlined in the NDS-1 to reach a target of 90% for vitamin A supplementation for children 6 to 59 months. 8. Infant and young child feeding practices. Infant and young child feeding dietary quality. The proportion of children fed a minimum accessible diet MAD improved from 2.1% in 2020 to 11.9% in 2025. Diet quality for children aged 6 to 23 months. 2020 minimal meal frequency 20.6%, minimum dietary diversity 11.2%, minimum acceptable diet 2.1%. 2021 minimum meal frequency 21%, minimum dietary diversity 20%, minimum acceptable diet 6%. 2023 minimum meal frequency 27%, minimum dietary diversity 10%, minimum acceptable diet 4%. 2024 minimum meal frequency 25%, minimum dietary diversity 5%, minimum acceptable diet 2%. 2025 minimum meal frequency 32.2%, minimum dietary diversity 27.3%, minimum acceptable diet 11.9%. Child nutrition status. Nutrition status of children 6 to 59 months. Standing 2022 26.7%, 2025, 23.8%, underweight, 2022, 10%, 2025, 7.7%, wasting, 2022, 7%, 2025, 4.3%, overweight, 2022, 4%, 2025, 4%. Obese, 2022, 2%, 2025, 2.1%. Nationally, the prevalence of GAM wasting was 4.3%, which is acceptable and is below the World Health Organization threshold of 5%. Standing prevalence remains high, 23.8% according to the World Health Organization classification, and it also falls short of the NDS1 target of 17%. Conclusions and recommendations. Government and its development partners are recommended to continue implementing measures and strategies in the following areas. A. Food security. At peak January to March 2026, 15% of the rural households, approximately 1,548,432 individuals, will be cereal insecure. The quarterly requirements will be 22,536 megatons for the July to September 2025 period. $38,735 megatons for October to December 2025 period, and 57,292 megatons for the January to March 26 period. The ministry responsible for social welfare is urged to consider programs that address the cereal gap in the affected districts. B. Household incomes. Rural households' incomes have been on an increase since 2020. Government is commended for implementing robust economic stabilization measures which have contributed to this improvement. However, the major income sources, casual labor 45%, and food crop production 21%, are susceptible to climate-related shocks. Therefore, there is need to upscale rural development programs which promote livelihood diversification and enhance resilience through the expansion of school-based, village-level, and youth-led business units as anchors for local economic growth and employment generation. C. Social protection. Support from government increased from 43% in 2024 to 65% in 2025 due to low harvests caused by the El Nino-induced droughts. The ministry responsible for finance is encouraged to continue with sovereign insurance to strengthen disaster risk management systems and access rapid and predictable financing to protect the food and nutrition security and livelihoods of vulnerable populations. FNC is housed at SIDIC 1574 Alps Road, Heathcliff, Harare. Telephone +263 242 862586 or +263 242 862 025. Website www.fnc.org.zw. Email info@fnc.org.zw. X @FNC-Zim, Instagram FNC-Zim, Facebook Food and Nutrition Council of Zimbabwe, YouTube FNC Zimbabwe, WhatsApp +263 776 990 479.